Hi there, welcome to Tech Center. This is Joshua and I have recently made a 5-part series where I showed you how to make a game similar to Flappy Bird in Python. In this video, I will be showing you how to program Flappy Bird in one single video. In this video, I'm using Python 3.8.3. I have posted a video showing you how to install Python 3.8.3 version. I'll put the links to the other parts in the series in the comments section below the video. Before we jump into the video, please subscribe and click the notification bell to receive future videos from my channel. If you haven't already watched my previous video, which was the 5th part of the series, where I completed the game, please check that out. I have put a link in the description box below so you can watch the video. If you have any questions or comments about this video, please contact me via email at fulltechcenter@gmail.com. Now let's open Python from the Windows Programs list. Click Start, scroll down to Python 3.8, then click on Idle Python. Now let's open a new file. New file. Now let's close the shell and maximize the Python programming window. Before we start programming, let me show you the final result. Here you can see the home screen. At the top of the screen you can see the title, Flappy Bird. In the center of the screen you can see the instructions in yellow and blue writing. At the bottom of the screen you can see the play button. If we click on play, you can see that there are 4 buttons, and at the bottom of the screen you can see the instructions again. This button is the home button. If you click on it, you'll be taken back to the home screen. Let's go back. Here you can see 3 game modes: easy, medium and hard. As the difficulty increases, the speed of the bird increases. For example, if I go on easy mode, you can see that the bird is moving really slow. If we touch the pipes, you can see that we will lose the game. As you can see, once we lost the game and it said game over, it took us straight back to the home screen. I'm going to click on play, and I'm going to click on hard mode. As you can see, the bird is moving a lot faster than before. Now to make the bird fly, you have to either press the space bar, or you can click the screen. Now I'm going to choose easy mode again. If you touch the top of the screen, you'll fall down to the ground and you'll lose. If you touch the ground, you'll also lose. To gain points, you have to move the bird in between the pipes. Now you can see that we're at 998 points. Now that we're at 999, you can see the trophy on the right hand side. You can see that when we touched it, it says congratulations, you won hard mode. Now the high score will save. Let me show you. As you can see, the high score has saved and it's 1000. Now let's close the window. Step 1. Importing the modules. First of all, we're going to import the T-Kinter module. This is for the widgets and the interactive buttons on the screen. From T-Kinter import asterisk, enter. We're also going to be importing the turtle library, which is used for the game mechanics and other visuals. Import turtle, enter. We're also going to need the random module. This is to generate a random number. Import random, enter. Import time. We're going to need the time module. This is so we have a pause in between certain events, in between the program. Enter, enter. Step 2. Creating the game window. I'm going to call my screen or window win. So wn equals turtle dot capital S screen, open brackets, close brackets. enter, wn.title, open brackets, open quotation marks. Now we write the title. I'm going to call it Flappy Bird, close quotation marks, close brackets, enter, wn.setup, open brackets, width equals, we're going to set the width of the screen to 450 pixels, comma, space, height equals 700, so the height of the screen is going to be 700 pixels, close brackets, enter. Now we're going to make the screen non-resizable. To do that, we have to do wn.cv._root window .resizable, open brackets, capital F false, comma, space, capital F false, close brackets, enter. Now we're going to set the background color, wn.bg color, open brackets, open quotation marks, hash 73C 5CE, close quotation marks, close brackets, enter. wn.tracer, open brackets, 0, close brackets. Now this line, make sure that there is no delay in the animation of any movement of turtles on the screen. Enter, enter. Step 3. Assigning the canvas to a variable. I'm going to call my variable canvas. Canvas, space, equals space, wn dot get canvas. Make sure get canvas is a single word. Open brackets, close brackets, enter, enter. Step 4. Initialising the widgets list. We are going to create a list. I'm going to call this list widgets, space, equals, and to create an empty list, press open square brackets, close square brackets. To start off, we're not going to put anything inside the widgets list. We're going to add things to the widgets list, and we're going to remove them as we go on later. Enter, enter. Step 5. Creating a sprite class. Class, space, I'm going to call this class sprite, open brackets, turtle, dot, capital T, turtle, close brackets, colon, enter, def, space, underscore, underscore, init, underscore, underscore, open brackets, self, comma, space, height, comma, space, length, comma, space, shape, comma, space, color, comma, space, start position, comma, space, dx, comma, space, dy, close brackets, colon, enter, super, open brackets, close brackets, dot, underscore, underscore, init, underscore, underscore, open brackets, shape equals shape, comma, space, visible, space equals space, false, make sure false has a capital letter, close brackets, enter. Now we're going to set the animation speed and the actual speed of the turtle at its fastest. To do that, we have to do self.speed, open brackets, 0, close brackets, enter, self.speed, space equals space, 0, enter. Now we're going to hide the sprites, self.ht, open brackets, close brackets, enter. We're also going to make sure that it doesn't draw on the screen when it moves, so we're going to do pen up, self.pu, open brackets, close brackets, enter. Now we're going to set the height and width of the sprite, self.shapeSize. Make sure shape size is one word, open brackets, stretch underscore width, space equals space, height, comma space, stretch underscore len, space equals space, length, comma space, outline, space equals space none. Make sure none has a capital N, close brackets, enter. Now we're going to set the color of the sprite, self.color, open brackets, color, make sure you spell color right, close brackets, enter. Self.goTo, open brackets, start capital P position, close brackets, enter. Self.dx space equals space dx, enter. Self.dy space equals space dy. So what we did here with these last two lines was we set the difference in x coordinate and difference in y coordinate. So it's used to set the speed of the sprite. Press enter, enter, backspace, backspace. That's 2 enters and 2 backspaces. Step 6. Creating the sprites. We're going to start off with the background pen. We're going to create it first. I'm going to call it background pen. Background capital P pen. Space equals space. Sprite. Open brackets. We're going to set its height as 1. So we're going to type 1, comma, space. We're going to set its length as 1. So we're going to type 1, 1, comma, space. Open quotation marks. Now we're going to assign its shape. In the program, we are not going to see the background pen. So let's set it to the classic shape, which is an arrowhead shape. Classic, close quotation marks, comma, space, open quotation marks. Now we're going to set the color of the pen. The color that we're going to use is hash DED694, close quotation marks, comma, space. Now we're going to set the start position of the background pen. Open brackets, 0, comma, space, 0, close brackets. So what we've done here is we've set the start position to the center of the screen, comma, space, 0, comma, space, 0, close brackets. These last two values are 0 because we do not need to move the pen as a game object itself. We only need it as a background pen. We're going to draw the background with it. We're not going to move it. We're not going to see it. So we don't need the last two values. So we just put it at 0. Press enter, enter. Now let's create the score pen. Score capital P pen, space equals space, sprite, open brackets, 1, comma, space 1, comma, space, open quotation marks, classic, close quotation marks, comma, space, open quotation marks, white, close quotation marks, comma, space, open brackets, 0, comma, space, 250, close brackets, comma, space, 0, comma, space, 0, close brackets, enter. Now let's create the game over pen. So this pen will be used to write the game over message when you lose the game. Game, capital O over, capital P pen. Make sure game over pen is one single word. Space equals space. Sprite, open brackets, 1, space, 1, space, open quotation marks, classic, close quotation marks, space, open quotation marks, red, close quotation marks, space, open brackets, 0, space, 0, close brackets, space, 0, space, 0, close brackets, enter, enter. Now we're going to create the trophy that appears at the end of the game, so when you win. We're going to start off with the very top of the trophy, which is the curve. I'm going to call it trophy top. Trophy, capital T top, space equals space, sprite, open brackets, 0.8, space 6, space, open quotation marks, circle, close quotation marks, space, open quotation marks, gold, close quotation marks, space, open brackets, 90, space, 168, close brackets, space, 0, space, 0, close brackets. Again, we're setting the last two values to 0 because we're not going to move the trophy. The only things that we're going to move in the game are the pipes and the bird. Press enter. Now we're going to create the body of the trophy. Trophy, capital B body, space equals space, sprite, open brackets, 6, space 6, space, open quotation marks, square, close quotation marks, space, open quotation marks, gold, close quotation marks, space, open brackets, 90, space, 107, close brackets, space, 0, space, 0, close brackets, enter. Now let's create the shadow inside of the trophy. There is a small shadow near the top of the trophy which shows the inside. So we're going to create it. Trophy, capital I inside, space equals space, sprite, open brackets, 1, space 5.5, space, open quotation marks, circle, close quotation marks, space, open quotation marks, hash FEBE 00, close quotation marks, space, open brackets, 90, space, 163, close brackets, space, 0, space, 0, close brackets, enter. Now let's create the left handle of the trophy. Left, capital H handle, space equals space, sprite, open brackets, 4, space, 1, space, open quotation marks, square, close quotation marks, space, open quotation marks, gold, close quotation marks, space, open brackets, 20, space, 107, close brackets, space, 0, space, 0, close brackets, enter. Now, currently, the left handle is just a block on the side of the body, so it's just a square sticking out of the side. There is no hole in between the handle and the trophy body. So now we're going to create the hole in between. Left, capital H hole, space equals space, sprite, open brackets, 2.8, space, 0.5, space, open quotation marks, square, close quotation marks, space, open quotation marks, hash 7, 3, C, 5, C, E, close quotation marks, space, open brackets, 25, space, 107, close brackets, space, 0, space, 0, close brackets, enter. Now let's create the right handle, right capital H handle, space equals space, sprite, open brackets, 4, comma, space 1, comma, space, open quotation marks, square, close quotation marks, comma, space, open quotation marks, gold, close quotation marks, comma, space, open brackets, 160, comma, space, 107, close brackets, comma, space, 0, comma, space, 0, close brackets, enter. Now let's create the hole in between the body of the trophy and the right handle. Right capital H hole, space equals space, sprite, open brackets, 2.8, comma, space, 0.5, comma, space, open quotation marks, square, close quotation marks, comma, space, open quotation marks, hash, 73C 5CE, close quotation marks, comma, space, open brackets, 155, comma, space, 107, close brackets, comma, space, 0, comma, space, 0, close brackets, enter. Now we're going to create the curved bottom of the trophy. Trophy bottom, make sure bottom has a capital B, space equals space, sprite, open brackets, 0.8, comma, space, 6, comma, space, open quotation marks, circle, close quotation marks, comma, space, open quotation marks, gold, close quotation marks, comma, space, open brackets, 90, comma, space, 46, close brackets, comma, space, 0, comma, space, 0, close brackets, enter. Now let's create the neck of the trophy. Trophy, capital N, neck, space equals space, sprite, open brackets, 3, comma, space, 1, comma, space, open quotation marks, square, close quotation marks, comma, space, open quotation marks, gold, close quotation marks, comma, space, open brackets, 90, comma, space, 30, close brackets, comma, space, 0, comma, space, 0, close brackets, enter. Now let's create the base of the trophy. Trophy, capital B base, space equals space, sprite, open brackets, 1, comma, space, 6, comma, space, open quotation marks, circle, close quotation marks, comma, space, open quotation marks, grey. Make sure you spell grey with an A, not an E, close quotation marks, comma, space, open brackets, 90, comma, space, 0, close brackets, comma, space, 0, comma, space, 0, close brackets, enter, enter. Now we've created all the parts of the trophy, we are going to create the player. We're going to start off with the bird's body. Body, space equals space, sprite, open brackets, 2.5, comma, space, 3.5, comma, space, open quotation marks, circle, close quotation marks, comma, space, open quotation marks, orange, close quotation marks, comma, space, open brackets, minus 115, comma, space, 107, close brackets, comma, space, 0, comma, space, 1, close brackets, enter. Now we're going to do the eye of the player. Eye, space equals space, sprite, open brackets, 1.1, comma, space, 1.5, comma, space, open quotation marks, circle, close quotation marks, comma, space, open quotation marks, white, close quotation marks, comma, space, open brackets, minus 95, comma, space, 116, close brackets, comma, space, 0, comma, space, 1, close brackets, enter. Now we're going to create the pupil of the eye. Pupil, space equals space, sprite, open brackets, 0.4, comma, space, 0.2, comma, space, open quotation marks, circle, close quotation marks, comma, space, open quotation marks, black, close quotation marks, comma, space, open brackets, minus 89, comma space 116, close brackets, comma space 0, comma space 1, close brackets, enter. Now let's create the top beak of the bird. Top capital B beak, make sure that's one word, space equals space, sprite, open brackets, 0.3, 1.8, comma space, open quotation marks, circle, close quotation marks, comma space, open quotation marks, red, close quotation marks, comma space, open brackets, minus 88, comma space, 103, close brackets, comma space 0, comma space 1, close brackets, enter. Now we're going to create the bottom beak. Bottom capital B beak, space equals space, sprite, open brackets, 0.3, comma space 1.8, space, open quotation marks, circle, close quotation marks, comma space, open quotation marks, red, close quotation marks, comma space, open brackets, minus 88, comma space 98, close brackets, comma space 0, comma space 1, close brackets, enter. Now let's create the wing of the player. Wing, space equals space, sprite, open brackets, 0.8, comma space 1.8, comma space, open quotation marks, circle, close quotation marks, comma space, open quotation marks, white, close quotation marks, comma space, open brackets, minus 140, comma space 107, close brackets, comma space 0, comma space 1, close brackets, enter, enter. Now that we've created the bird, we're going to adjust the angle of each part of the bird. So we're going to start off with the body. We're going to rotate it left by 10 degrees. Body dot lt, open brackets, 10, close brackets, enter. Now we're going to rotate the eye by 20 degrees to the right. I dot rt, open brackets, 20, close brackets, enter. Now we're going to rotate the top beak left by 4 degrees. Top capital B beak dot lt, open brackets, 4, close brackets, enter. Now we're going to rotate the bottom beak 4 degrees to the right. Bottom capital B beak dot rt, open brackets, 4, close brackets, enter, enter. Now that we've created the player and adjusted its angles, we're going to create the pipes. We're only going to create one set of pipes. So I'm going to call the top pipe, and the bottom pipe. Let's start with the top pipe. Top capital P pipe, space equals space, sprite, open brackets, 25, comma space 3, comma space, open quotation marks, square, close quotation marks, comma space, open quotation marks, green, close quotation marks, comma space, open brackets, 200, comma space, 430, close brackets, comma space, 0, comma space 0, close brackets, enter. Now we're going to create the bottom pipe. Bottom capital P pipe, space equals space, sprite, open brackets, 25, comma space 3, comma space, open quotation marks, square, close quotation marks, comma space, open quotation marks, green, close quotation marks, comma space, open brackets, 200, comma space, minus 205, close brackets, comma space 0, comma space 0, close brackets. Now you may be wondering why these last two values for both of these pipes is 0. Now this is because we are going to set the values later on in the program, so we're going to do that in another video. In this video, we're not going to set the values for these. The values for these will depend on the game mode that you select, so we're going to do that later on in another video. Enter, enter. Step 7. Creating procedures to draw the background image. First of all, we're going to create a procedure to draw a quadrilateral. So I'm going to call it draw, def, space, draw, open brackets. First of all, we're going to take the color as a parameter. So I'm going to call it col, comma, space. And we're also going to take the position of the pen. So I'm going to type pos, comma, space. We're also going to need the two lengths of the sides. So I'm going to call them len1 and len2. Len1, comma, space, len2, comma, space. We're also going to need the rotation angle of the pen at each corner. So I'm going to call them rot1 and rot2. Rot1, comma, space, rot2. Close brackets, colon, enter. Background, capital P pen, dot, color, open brackets, col, close brackets, enter. Background, capital P pen, dot, go to, open brackets, pos, close brackets, enter. Now we're going to put the pen down, so when we put the pen down it will start to draw on the canvas of the screen. Background, capital P pen, dot, pd, open brackets, close brackets, enter. Background pen, make sure background pen has a capital P, dot, fill color, open brackets, col, close brackets, enter. Now we're going to start filling the inside of the shape. Although we have not started drawing it, we have to type begin fill at the start. Background pen, make sure background pen has a capital P, dot, begin, underscore, fill, open brackets, close brackets, enter, enter. For, space, loop, space, in, space, range, open brackets, to, close brackets, colon, enter. Background, capital P pen, dot, fd, open brackets, len1, close brackets, enter. Background pen, make sure background pen has a capital P, dot, rt, open brackets, rot1, close brackets, enter. Background pen, make sure background pen has a capital P, dot, fd, open brackets, len2, close brackets, enter. Background, capital P pen, dot, rt, open brackets, rot2, close brackets, enter, enter, backspace. That was 2 enters and 1 backspace. By this point, the shape would have already been drawn, so now let's end fill. Background, capital P pen, dot, end, underscore, fill, open brackets, close brackets. So now we've filled the shape with the colour that we assigned. Enter. Now we're going to put the pen up so it does not draw on the screen anymore. Background pen, make sure background pen has a capital P, dot, pu, open brackets, close brackets, enter, enter, backspace. That was 2 enters and 1 backspace. Now we're going to create a procedure to loop the previous procedure that we just completed. This is to maximize the efficiency of the program. So let's create it. Def, space, loop, capital D draw, open brackets, start, capital P pos, comma, space, loops, comma, space, col, comma, space, len1, comma, space, len2, comma, space, rot1, comma, space, rot2. close brackets, colon, enter. So first of all, we're going to move the background pen to a specific location on the screen. So this will be assigned when we actually use the procedure. We're not going to use the procedure right now, we're creating it, so we're not going to worry about the position right now. Let's just set it to that position, because we've called it start pos over here. Background, capital P pen, dot go to, open brackets, start, capital P pos, close brackets, enter. Now we're going to start looping the previous procedure, which was draw. So to do that, we're going to have to create a for loop. To do that, we have to type for space loop space in space range, open brackets. And now we're going to assign how many times we need to loop this. This will vary depending on how many squares and quadrilaterals we will need in the program. So we're going to insert it as a parameter when we call the procedure. We've called it loops. So I'm going to just type loops, close brackets, colon, enter. Now we're going to use the previous procedure, draw, open brackets. We're going to pass in the color, col, comma, space. Now we're going to assign the position of the pen as the start position, because in this procedure, after it's drawn one quadrilateral, its start position will be at the end of the first quadrilateral. It should not go back to the very start, otherwise it will redraw over the same path. So to do that, we're going to set the x-coordinate as the current x-coordinate of the pen, and the y-coordinate as the current y-coordinate of the pen. Open brackets, background, capital P pen, dot xcore, open brackets, close brackets, comma, space, background, capital P pen, dot ycore, open brackets, close brackets, close brackets. As you can see, we've used xcore and ycore to find the x-coordinates and y-coordinates. If you ever want to find the x-coordinate of a turtle in a program, just type the name of the turtle that you assigned and then dot xcore, open brackets, close brackets. It's the same with ycore, but instead of typing xcore, you type ycore. The name of the turtle, dot ycore, open brackets, close brackets, comma, space, len1, comma, space, len2, comma, space, rot1, comma, space, rot2, close brackets, enter. Now after drawing a quadrilateral, it will eventually end up at the start position again. So we're going to have to move the pen again. So I'm going to move it by 40 pixels. To do that, type background, capital P pen, dot fd, open brackets, 40, close brackets, enter, enter, backspace, backspace. That was 2 enters, 2 backspaces. Now we're going to draw the background image. Step 8. Drawing the background image. Now we're going to draw the background image. Draw, open brackets, open quotation marks, hash, DED 694, close quotation marks, comma, space, open brackets, minus 223, comma, space, minus 286, close brackets, comma, space, 439, comma, space, 55, comma, space, 90, comma, space, 90, close brackets, enter. Draw, open brackets, open quotation marks, hash, D6, AD52, close quotation marks, comma, space, open brackets, minus 223, comma, space, minus 281, close brackets, comma, space, 439, comma, space, 5, comma, space, 90, comma, space, 90, close brackets, enter draw, open brackets, open quotation marks, hash 528421, close quotation marks, comma, space, open brackets, minus 223, comma, space, minus 277, close brackets, comma, space, 439, comma, space, 4, comma, space, 90, comma, space, 90, close brackets, enter, loop, capital D, draw, open brackets, minus 223, comma, minus 263, close brackets, comma, space, 12, comma, space, open quotation marks, hash 9CE 65A, close quotation marks, comma, space, 20, comma, space, 20, comma, space, 135, comma, space, 45, close brackets, enter, loop, capital D, draw, open brackets, minus 203, comma, space, minus 263, close brackets, comma, space, 11, comma, space, open quotation marks, hash 73AD3A, close quotation marks, comma, space, 20, comma, space, 20, comma, space, 135, comma, space, 45, close brackets, enter, draw, open brackets, open quotation marks, hash DEF77B, close quotation marks, comma, space, open brackets, minus 223, comma, space, minus 259, close brackets, comma, space, 439, comma, space, 4, comma, space, 90, comma, space, 90, close brackets, enter, enter. Step 9. Creating a procedure to remove the widgets. So what we're going to do now is creating a procedure to clear all the widgets that we're creating. So for example, buttons, writing on the screen, and other features in the home screen. So we're going to have to remove them before actually starting the game. To do that, we need to create a procedure where we delete all of them and clear the list that we created at the start. In the previous video, we created an empty list which was going to be used for any of the widgets that we're going to create in the future. So we're going to delete them in this procedure. Let's create the procedure. Def space clear, capital W, widgets. Make sure clear widgets is one word. Open brackets, widgets, capital L, list. Make sure widgets list is one word. Close brackets, colon, enter. For space widgets in space widget, capital L, list, colon, enter. So now we're going to create a structure, try except. We're going to use that structure because there are two different commands to delete these widgets. If we use one of them for all of them, there will be an error message. So we can't use both commands. The first command is canvas.delete, and if we use that for all of them, it will not work. The second command is widget.destroy, or the name of the widget.destroy. So we can't use just one of them, we have to use both of them. So to avoid an error, we're going to use a try except loop. First of all, we're going to try canvas.delete. Then we're going to do widget.destroy if canvas.delete does not work. So let's do that. Try colon enter, canvas dot delete, open brackets, widget, close bracket, enter, backspace, that's one enter and one backspace, except, colon enter, widget dot destroy, open brackets, close brackets, enter, backspace, backspace, enter. That's 2 enters and 2 backspaces. Now, at this point, we've deleted all the widgets, but there is still some data stored of them in the memory. So, to delete that from the widgets list, because the memory is stored in the widgets list, we're going to delete everything in the widgets list. So to do that, we're going to clear it. Type widget, capital L list, dot clear, open brackets, close brackets, enter, enter, backspace. That was 2 enters and 1 backspace. Step 10. Creating a procedure for the game. So now we're going to create a procedure for the actual gameplay. So let's start with that. Type def space game, open brackets, widgets, comma space game mode, comma space high score, close brackets, colon enter. Make sure game mode and high score are a single word. First of all, let's clear everything in the widgets list, because before the game window there is a home screen. So we've got to clear everything from the home screen, and then we've got to set it up for the game window. So let's clear the home screen. To do that, we're going to use the procedure that we created in the previous video. So let's call the procedure. To do that, type clear, capital W widgets, open brackets, widgets, close brackets, enter. Now we're going to set the gravity of the game. So the bird is going to have a gravity of -1. So press enter to create a new line, and now let's create the gravity. So I'm going to assign it to a variable called gravity. Gravity space equals space -1. Enter, enter. So now we're going to show the turtles for the player. So let's do that. Body.st, open brackets, close brackets, enter. I.st, open brackets, close brackets, enter. Pupil.st, open brackets, close brackets, enter. Top beak, make sure top beak has a capital B. St, open brackets, close brackets, enter. Bottom, capital B beak, st, open brackets, close brackets, enter. Wing, st, open brackets, close brackets, enter. Now we're going to show the pipes. So let's do that. Top, capital P pipe, st, open brackets, close brackets, enter. Bottom, capital P pipe, st, open brackets, close brackets, enter, enter. Now we're going to set the dx of the pipes. So what that means is how fast the pipes move across the screen. In the game, we can't make the bird move from left to right. We're moving the pipes from right to left. So we're going to do this depending on game mode, so we're going to do it inside an if structure. So let's do that. If space game mode, make sure game mode is a single word, space equals, make sure there's a double equals here, space, open quotation marks, easy, close quotation marks, colon, enter. Top, capital P pipe, dot dx, space equals space, -7, enter. Bottom, capital P pipe, dot dx, space equals space, -7, enter. Backspace. That was 1 enter and 1 backspace. Now we're going to do the medium game mode. Elif space game mode space equals equals space open quotation marks medium close quotation marks colon enter top capital P pipe dot dx space equals space minus 10 enter bottom capital P pipe dot dx space equals space minus 10 enter backspace. Again, that was one enter and one backspace. Now there's only one more game mode, which is hard game mode, so we don't need to write an if statement like this. We only need to do else. So let's type that. Else colon enter top capital P pipe dot dx space equals space minus 13 enter bottom capital P pipe dot dx space equals space minus 13 enter enter backspace. That was 2 enters and 1 backspace. Now every time the player passes through the pipes, the player will get 1 point. So each pipe will have half a point. So let's do that. We're going to set a value for the pipes. So I'm going to do that. Top capital P pipe dot value space equals space 0.5 enter bottom capital P pipe dot value space equals space 0.5 enter enter. We also need to set the score and the high score. We need to set the score to 0 and the high score to the previous high score, because in this game the high score is saved from the previous attempt. So we don't need to set it to 0, but we're setting it to high score itself. We're passing it as a parameter in this procedure, as you can see here. So let's set the score to 0, score space equals space 0 enter. Now let's set the high score space equals space high score enter enter. Now let's create a procedure for the bird to fly. So type def space fly open brackets close brackets colon enter if space game mode space equals equals space open quotation marks easy close quotation marks space or space game mode space equals equals space open quotation marks medium close quotation marks colon enter value space equals space 10 enter backspace else colon enter value space equals space 12. So what we've done here is set different jump heights. So if it's easy or medium mode, the player can only jump 10 pixels high, whereas if it's hard mode, the player can jump 12 pixels high. This is because it would be impossible to complete hard mode if we did not have such a high jump height. So now let's press enter, enter, backspace. That's 2 enters and 1 backspace. Now let's move the body parts of the player upwards. To do that, we're going to add on the value to the difference in y. So let's do that. Body.dy space plus equals space value enter I.dy space plus equals space value enter pupil.dy space plus equals space value enter top capital B beak dot dy space plus equals space value enter bottom capital B beak dot dy space plus equals space value enter wing dot dy space plus equals space value enter enter. We're going to create an animation for the wing. So to do that, we're going to just rotate the wing a bit, and then we're going to rotate it back every time we jump. So let's do that. Wing.lt open brackets 20 close brackets. So we've rotated it left 20 degrees. Enter. wn.tracer, open brackets, 2, close brackets. So what we've done here is we've set the animation speed of the screen to 2, which is slower than 0, which was what we set at the start of the script. So we're setting it to 2 right now, so it's slower, so we can see the animation. Otherwise the animation would not appear on the screen. Press enter. Now we're going to rotate the wing back. So let's do that. Wing.rt, open brackets, 20, close brackets, enter. Now let's set the animation speed back to normal, which is the fastest, 0. wn.tracer, open brackets, 0, close brackets, enter, enter. Now, currently, the bird is flying, but once the bird jumps, it continues flying. So to stop it from continuing flying, automatically, we have to set its value back down to 10 or 12. So to do that, we have to do an if statement. Let's do that. If space body.dy space is greater than space value colon enter, body.dy space equals space value. So we're setting the dy back to the original value. So let's do that with all the other players' body parts. I.dy space equals space value, enter. Pupil.dy space equals space value, enter. Top capital B beak dot dy space equals space value, enter. Bottom capital B beak dot dy space equals space value, enter. Wing dot dy space equals space value, enter, enter, backspace, backspace. That's 2 enters and 2 backspaces. Now we're going to create a procedure for when clicking the screen. So when we click the screen currently, the bird will not fly. This is because when we use the method to click on the screen, it requires 2 arguments to be passed through. So currently we have no arguments to pass through. As you can see, no parameters. So we need to create another procedure to do that. So let's do that. Def space click capital F fly. Make sure click fly is a single word. Open brackets. I'm going to call this button, comma space new capital B binding, close brackets, colon, enter. So the first argument here is which button is being pressed, and the second argument is creating a new binding with the function. Let's call the previous procedure that we just created, which is called fly. So let's just type fly, open brackets, close brackets, enter, enter, backspace. Now we've created flying procedures. So first one was for when we press space, second one was for when we click with the mouse. Now we're going to create a procedure for when the game ends, either when we win or when we lose. So I'm going to call it game over. Let's type def space game capital O over. Make sure game over is one word. Open brackets, high score, comma space ending, close brackets, colon, enter. Score capital P pen. Make sure score pen is a single word. Dot clear, open brackets, close brackets, enter, enter. So what we've done here is we've cleared the score pen, so the score is not visible on the screen anymore. Now we need to display the high score and the score that we achieved in the game. So we're going to do that with the score pen. Score capital P pen dot write, open brackets, open quotation marks, high score, colon, space, close quotation marks, space plus space, str, open brackets, high score, close brackets. So what we did here with the str is we converted the high score to a string. So the reason we've converted it to a string is because we cannot concatenate, that means add together, an integer, which is the high score, and a string, which is this writing here. So let's continue writing the string, space plus space, open quotation marks, \n, space, space, score, make sure score has a capital S, colon, space, close quotation marks. So this \n creates a new line, so it writes the score on a separate line. Now let's move on, space plus space, str, open brackets, score, close brackets, comma, space, move, space equals space, false. So we've set move to false. This is because we do not want the text to move while it's being displayed. Comma, space, font, space equals space, open brackets, open quotation marks. I'm going to use Courier. You can use any other font. Courier, close quotation marks, comma, space, 25, comma, space, open quotation marks, bold, close quotation marks, close brackets, comma, space, align, space equals space, open quotation marks, center, close quotation marks. So what we've done here is we've moved the text to the center of the position of where we're writing. Close brackets, enter, enter. That was 2 enters. Now let's create a delay by 1 second. To do that, we're going to use the time library. Let's do that. Time.sleep. Open brackets 1, close brackets. So we created a 1 second delay. Enter. Now let's clear the score pen. Score, capital P pen, dot clear. Open brackets, close brackets. Enter, enter. Now we're going to hide all of the player's body parts and the pipes itself. Body.ht, open brackets, close brackets, enter. I.ht, open brackets, close brackets, enter. Pupil.ht, open brackets, close brackets, enter. Topbeak.ht, open brackets, close brackets. Make sure Topbeak has a capital B, enter. Bottom capital B, beak, dot ht, open brackets, close brackets, enter. Wing dot ht, open brackets, close brackets, enter. Top capital P pipe dot ht, open brackets, close brackets, enter. Bottom capital P pipe dot ht, open brackets, close brackets, enter, enter. Now let's move the player's body parts back to its original position. Body.go.to, open brackets, -115, comma, space, 107, close brackets, enter. I.go.to, open brackets, -95, comma, space, 116, close brackets, enter. Pupil.go.to, open brackets, -89, comma, space, 116, close brackets, enter. Topbeak, make sure Topbeak has a capital B, dot go.to, open brackets, -88, comma, space, 103, close brackets, enter. Bottom capital B beak, dot go.to, open brackets, -88, comma, space, 98, close brackets, enter. Wing.go.to, open brackets, -140, comma, space, 107, close brackets, enter, enter. Now we're going to reset the dy of the player. This is so that the player does not fall down and hit the ground again. Body.dy, space equals space, 0. Enter. I.dy, space equals space, 0. Enter. Pupil.dy, space equals space, 0. Enter. Top capital B beak dot dy, space equals space, 0. Enter. Bottom capital B beak dot dy, space equals space, 0, enter, wing.dy space equals space 0, enter, enter. Now let's reset the position of the pipes. Top capital P pipe dot go to open brackets 250 comma space 430 close brackets, enter. Bottom capital P pipe dot go to open brackets 250 comma space minus 205 close brackets, enter, enter. Now there is also the chance that we will lose just before touching the trophy. We may accidentally touch the top of the screen or fall onto the floor. So when the trophy appears in the current program, it will not disappear when it's game over. To make it disappear, we need to hide the turtle in this procedure. Trophy capital T top dot ht open brackets close brackets, enter. Trophy capital B body dot ht open brackets close brackets, enter. Trophy capital I inside dot ht open brackets close brackets, enter. Left capital H handle dot ht open brackets close brackets, enter. Left capital H hole dot ht open brackets close brackets, enter. Right capital H handle dot ht open brackets close brackets, enter. Right capital H hole dot ht open brackets close brackets, enter. Trophy capital B bottom dot ht open brackets close brackets, enter. Trophy capital N neck dot ht open brackets close brackets, enter. Trophy capital B base dot ht open brackets close brackets, enter, enter. Now we are going to check if we have either won or lost, and we are going to display the right message. So if we won, we're going to display congratulations. If we lost, we're going to display game over. So let's do that. We're going to use an if structure for that. If space ending space equals equals space open quotation marks lose close quotation marks colon, enter. Game capital O over capital P pen, make sure game over pen is a single word and the O and the P are capitals. Dot go to open brackets 0 comma space 0 close brackets, enter. So we're moving it back to the center of the screen. Now we're going to change the color of the pen to red. Game capital O over capital P pen dot color open brackets open quotation marks red close quotation marks close brackets, enter. Now we're going to display the message. Game capital O over capital P pen dot write open brackets open quotation marks. I'm going to write game over. I've written it in capital letters. You don't have to write it in capital letters. You can write the message however you want to, but I just wrote it all in capitals so the user can easily see that they've lost the game. Close quotation marks, comma, space, move, space equals space, false, comma, space, font, space equals space, open brackets, open quotation marks. I'm going to use Courier again. Courier, close quotation marks, comma, space. If you're using Courier, use font size 55. Comma, space, open quotation marks, bold, close quotation marks, close brackets, comma, space, align, space equals space, open quotation marks, center, close quotation marks, close brackets, enter, backspace. That's one enter and one backspace. Else, colon, enter, game, capital O over, capital B pen, make sure that's one word, dot go to, open brackets, 0, comma, space, 225, close brackets, enter, game, capital O over, capital B pen, dot color, open brackets, open quotation marks, gold, close quotation marks, close brackets, enter. Depending on the game mode, we will need different messages for when we win. For example, if we win in easy mode, we will need congratulations, you won easy mode. But if you won hard mode, you would need congratulations, you won hard mode. So we're going to do that with an if statement. Enter if space game mode space equals space open quotation marks easy close quotation marks space or space game mode space equals space open quotation marks hard close quotation marks colon. Enter. Now what we're doing here is we're choosing the message depending on the length of the difficulty. For example, easy has 4 letters in it and hard has 4 letters in it, so we do not need more spaces. Whereas if it's medium mode, there's more than 4 letters, so we need more spaces. That's why it's written separately. Game, capital O over, capital P pen, dot write, open brackets, open quotation marks, space, congratulations, exclamation mark, backslash n, capital Y, U1, space, close quotation marks, space, plus, space, game mode, space, plus, space, open quotation marks, space, mode, full stop, close quotation marks. Now, here we've written, congratulations, you have won this game mode. So, if it's easy, it would write easy. If it was hard, it would write hard. If it's medium, we need another if statement for that. Let's continue. Comma, space, move, space equals space, false, comma, space, font, space equals space, open brackets, open quotation marks, courier, close quotation marks, comma, space, 25, comma, space, open quotation marks, bold, close quotation marks, close brackets, comma, space, align, space equals space, open quotation marks, center, close quotation marks, close brackets, enter, backspace. That was 1 enter and 1 backspace. Now we're going to do the else, colon, enter, game, capital O over, capital B pen, dot write, open brackets, open quotation marks, double space, so type space twice, congratulations, exclamation mark, backslash n, U1, medium mode, full stop, close quotation marks, comma, space, move, space equals space, false, comma, space, font, space equals space, open brackets, open quotation marks, courier, close quotation marks, comma, space, 25, comma, space, open quotation marks, bold, close quotation marks, close brackets, comma, space, align, space equals space, open quotation marks, center, close quotation marks, close brackets, enter, enter, backspace, backspace. That's 2 enters and 2 backspaces. Now we're going to create a 4-second delay so that the user can actually read the message. Time.sleep, open brackets, 4, close brackets, enter. Now we've created the 4-second delay. After the 4 seconds, we are going to clear the message off the screen. So to do that, we are going to write game over pen, game, capital O over, capital P pen, dot clear, open brackets, close brackets, enter, enter. Now we're going to call a procedure that we have not created yet. It's going to be the home screen procedure. So we're going to call it now, but if we run the program after this, program will not run because we have not created this procedure yet. But we're going to type that in right now. Home, capital S, screen, open brackets, widgets, comma, space, high score, close brackets, enter, enter, backspace. That's 2 enters and 1 backspace. Now we're going to create the key bindings. The key bindings are where we bind the keys on the keyboard and on the mouse to any functions or procedures in the program. So first of all, before we bind, we have to do wn.listen, open brackets, close brackets, enter. Now we can set the bindings. So the first binding that we're going to do is flying with the spacebar. To do that, type wn.onKeyPress, open brackets. Now we're going to state which function that we're going to use. We're going to use fly, comma, space, and now we type which key we're going to use. Open quotation mark. We're going to use the space bar, so we're going to type space, close quotation marks, close brackets, enter. Now let's do that for the mouse. wn.onScreen click, open brackets. Now for on-screen click, we have to say which function it is, which button it is. We're going to use click fly, click capital F fly. That's the function that we created before, comma, space, 1. So we typed 1 because it's the left mouse button, comma, space. And this is a new binding, so we're going to make it true. True. Close brackets, enter, enter. Now, in case that the score pen has written anything, we're going to clear the screen from everything that the score pen has written. Score, capital P pen, dot, clear. Open brackets, close brackets, enter. Now we're going to write the score and the high score. Score, capital P pen, dot, write. Open brackets, open quotation marks, high score, colon, space, close quotation marks, space plus space, str, open brackets, high score, close brackets, space plus space, open quotation marks, backslash n, space, space, capital S score, colon, space, 0, close quotation mark. So we've set the score to 0, so we don't really need to add str score because it's going to be 0 anyway. So we just wrote 0. Here, the high score may be different because of a previous attempt, so we're using str high score here. Comma, space, move, space, equals space, false. Make sure false has a capital F. Comma, space, font, space, equals space, open brackets, open quotation marks, courier, close quotation marks, comma, space, 25, comma, space, open quotation marks, bold, close quotation marks, close brackets, comma, space, align, space, equals space, open quotation marks, center, close quotation marks, close brackets, enter, enter. Now we're going to create a Boolean variable. This variable is going to check if we have either lost the game or won the game. This is for life lost or life won. I'm going to call it life lost, life, capital L lost, space, equals space. I'm going to set it to false because at the start the player is still alive. Capital F false, enter, enter. Step 11. Creating the main loop. So for the main loop, we're going to set it as while true. What that means is that it will loop as long as true equals true. So let's do that. While, space, true, colon, enter. So this will run continuously. First of all, we're going to add a small delay. Every frame rate is going to be 0.1 seconds. Time dot sleep, open brackets, 0.1, close brackets, enter, enter. Now we need to update the screen so that we can see the changes. wn.update, open brackets, close brackets, enter, enter. Now we need to add the gravity to the player, so let's do that. Body.dy space plus equals space gravity. Gravity is a variable that we assigned earlier, it's -1, enter. I.dy space plus equals space gravity, enter. Pupil.dy space plus equals space gravity, enter. Top capital B beak dot dy space plus equals space gravity, enter. Bottom capital B beak dot dy space plus equals space gravity, enter. Wing dot dy space plus equals space gravity, enter, enter. Now, to avoid an error in future lines, we're going to assign the y coordinate of each part of the body to a variable. Let's do that. Y capital B body space equals space body dot y core, open brackets, close brackets, enter. Y capital EI space equals space I dot y core, open brackets, close brackets, enter. Y capital P pupil space equals space pupil dot y core, open brackets, close brackets, enter. Y capital T top capital B beak space equals space top capital B beak dot y core, open brackets, close brackets, enter. Y capital B bottom capital B beak space equals space bottom capital B beak dot y core, open brackets, close brackets, enter. Y capital W wing space equals space wing dot y core, open brackets, close brackets, enter, enter. Now we're going to add the dy of the player to the player's y coordinate. Let's do that. Y capital B body space plus equals space body dot dy, enter. Y capital EI space plus equals space I dot dy, enter. Y capital P pupil space plus equals space pupil dot dy, enter. Y capital T top capital B beak space plus equals space top capital B beak dot dy, enter. Y capital B bottom capital B beak space plus equals space bottom capital B beak dot dy, enter. Y capital W wing space plus equals space wing dot dy, enter, enter. Now we're going to set the y coordinate as the y coordinate, because sometimes there are some errors. Body dot set y, open brackets, y capital B body, close brackets, enter. I dot set y, open brackets, y capital EI, close brackets, enter. Pupil dot set y, open brackets, y capital B pupil, close brackets, enter. Top capital B beak dot set y, open brackets, y capital T top capital B beak, close brackets, enter. Bottom capital B beak dot set y, open brackets, y capital B bottom capital B beak, close brackets, enter. Wing dot set y, open brackets, y capital W wing, close brackets, enter, enter. Now we're going to set the dx of the player to 7. Now this is for when we reach the trophy, because after that the player is moving towards the trophy. The trophy is not moving towards the player. So we're setting the dx of the player right now and not later. Body.dx space equals space 7, enter. I.dx space equals space 7, enter. Pupil.dx space equals space 7, enter. Top capital B beak .dx space equals space 7, enter. Bottom capital B beak .dx space equals space 7, enter. Wing.dx space equals space 7, enter, enter. Now we're going to assign the x coordinate of the pipes to a variable. This is so we can avoid some errors later on. X capital T top, capital P pipe, space equals space, top capital P pipe, dot x core, open brackets, close brackets, enter. X capital B bottom, capital P pipe, space equals space, bottom capital P pipe, dot x core, open brackets, close brackets, enter, enter. Now, like the player, we're going to set the x coordinate of the pipe and we're going to move it. So let's move it first. X capital T top, capital P pipe, space plus equals space top capital P pipe dot dx, enter. So we're adding the dx onto it. X capital B bottom, capital P pipe, space plus equals space bottom capital P pipe dot dx, enter, enter. Now let's set the x coordinate to the x coordinate just in case. Top capital P pipe dot set x, open brackets, x capital T top capital P pipe, close brackets, enter. Bottom capital P pipe dot set x, open brackets, x capital B bottom capital P pipe, close brackets, enter, enter. That was 2 enters. Now we're going to reset the pipes, so when they move off the screen they're going to respawn. If space open brackets top capital P pipe dot x core, open brackets, close brackets, space is less than space minus 250, close brackets, space or space open brackets bottom capital P pipe dot x core, open brackets, close brackets, space is less than space minus 250, close brackets, colon, enter. Now we're also going to check if the score is 999, because if it's 999 we don't want the pipes to respawn. We want them to stay off the screen because we want to move towards the trophy. We don't want to get hit by pipes. So to check for that, type if space score exclamation mark equals. So when we put exclamation mark equals, it means that it does not equal to a certain value. That certain value that we're going to assign right now is 999, colon, enter. Let me just put some spaces. I'm going to put a space after score and I'm going to put a space after the equals. This is so that it's more readable. Now let's move the top pipe back and the bottom pipe back. Top capital P pipe dot go to, open brackets, 250, comma space random dot rand int, open brackets, 150, comma space 550, close brackets, close brackets. So what we're doing here is we're resetting the x coordinate back to the end of the screen and its y coordinate at a random integer between 150 and 550. So every time the pipes will come out at a random height. Enter. Bottom P pipe dot go to open brackets 250 comma space. Now we need the pipes to cooperate with each other, so the top pipe will always be random, the bottom pipe will just go a certain distance below that. So in this case, the bottom pipe needs to be 635 pixels below the top pipe's center. So let's do that. Top P pipe dot ycore open brackets close brackets space minus space 635 close brackets, enter. Now we're going to reset the values of the pipes, because once the player passes through them, the value is lost. So we're going to regain the value. Top P pipe dot value space equals space 0.5, enter. Bottom P pipe dot value space equals space 0.5, enter, enter, backspace, backspace. That was 2 enters and 2 backspaces. Now we're going to check if the score is greater than the high score, so we can change it. If space score space is greater than space high score colon enter, high score space equals space score, enter, enter, backspace. That was 2 enters and 1 backspace. Now we are going to check if the player has passed through the pipes so that we can add the values to the player's score. Let's do that. If space top P pipe dot xcore open brackets close brackets space plus space 50 space is less than space body dot xcore open brackets close brackets colon enter, score space plus equals top P pipe dot value, enter. Now we're going to set the value of the pipe back to 0 because we do not want multiple points. Top P pipe dot value space equals space 0, enter. Score space plus equals space bottom P pipe dot value, enter. Bottom P pipe dot value space equals space 0, enter. Now we're going to round the score to a whole number because it will show a 0.0 because we're adding decimals to it. Score space equals space round open brackets score close brackets, enter. Score P pen dot clear open brackets close brackets. This is to clear the score pen so that we can update the score. Enter. Score pen. Make sure score pen has a P dot write open brackets open quotation marks high score colon space close quotation marks space plus space str open brackets high score close brackets space plus space open quotation marks backslash n space score colon space close quotation marks space plus space str open brackets score close brackets comma space move space equals space F false comma space font space equals space open brackets open quotation marks courier close quotation marks comma space 25 comma space open quotation marks bold close quotation marks close brackets comma space align space equals space open quotation marks center close quotation marks close brackets enter, enter, backspace. That was 2 enters and 1 backspace. Now we're going to check for if the player travels to the top or the very bottom of the map, and we're going to make it game over. If space open brackets body dot yCore open brackets close brackets space is less than space minus 250 close brackets space or space open brackets body dot yCore open brackets close brackets space is greater than space 350 close brackets colon enter, life capital L lost space equals space capital T true enter, top capital P pipe dot dx space equals space 0 enter, bottom capital P pipe dot dx space equals space 0. What we're doing here is we're saying that the pipes should stop moving if we lose the game by touching the top or the bottom of the place of the map. Enter, wn.tracer open brackets n space equals space 1 comma space delay space equals space 0.8 close brackets enter, if space open brackets body dot yCore open brackets close brackets space is greater than space minus 250 close brackets colon enter. So we're checking if it's above the ground. We're going to create an animation for falling down. Gravity space equals space minus 12. So the gravity is too high that we can't even jump high enough, and it's going to pull us all the way down to the ground. Enter, backspace, else, colon enter, body dot set y open brackets minus 250 close brackets enter, I dot set y open brackets minus 241 close brackets enter, pupil dot set y open brackets minus 241 close brackets enter, top capital B beak dot set y open brackets minus 254 close brackets enter, bottom capital B beak dot set y open brackets minus 259 close brackets enter, wing dot set y open brackets minus 250 close brackets enter, time dot sleep open brackets 1 close brackets enter. So we've added a 1 second delay. Game capital O over open brackets high score comma space open quotation marks lose close quotation marks close brackets. So we're calling that game over procedure that we created before. Enter, enter, backspace, backspace. That was 2 enters and 2 backspaces. Now we are going to check collisions with the pipes. If space open brackets body dot xcore open brackets close brackets space plus space 35 space is greater than space top capital P pipe dot xcore open brackets close brackets space minus space 30 close brackets space and space open brackets body dot xcore open brackets close brackets space minus space 35 space is less than space top capital P pipe dot xcore open brackets close brackets space plus space 30 close brackets space or space open brackets body body.xcore, open brackets, close brackets, space plus space 35, space is greater than, space bottom, capital P pipe, dot xcore, open brackets, close brackets, space minus space 30, close brackets, space and, space open brackets, body dot xcore, open brackets, close brackets, space minus space 35, space is less than, space bottom capital P pipe dot xcore, open brackets, close brackets, space plus space 30, close brackets, colon, enter, if space open brackets, body dot ycore, open brackets, close brackets, space plus space 20, space is greater than, space top, capital P pipe, dot ycore, open brackets, close brackets, space minus space 250, close brackets, space and, space open brackets, body dot ycore, open brackets, close brackets, space minus space 20, space is less than, space top capital P pipe dot ycore, open brackets, close brackets, space plus space 250, close brackets, space or, space open brackets, body dot ycore, open brackets, close brackets, space plus space 20, space is greater than, space bottom capital P pipe dot ycore, open brackets, close brackets, space minus space 250, close brackets, space and, space open brackets, body dot ycore, open brackets, close brackets, space minus space 20, space is less than, space bottom capital B pipe dot ycore, open brackets, close brackets, space plus space 250, close brackets, colon, enter, life capital L lost, space equals space, true, make sure true has a capital T, enter, top capital P pipe dot dx, space equals space, 0, enter, bottom capital B pipe dot dx, space equals space, 0, enter, wn dot tracer, open brackets, n space equals space 1 comma space delay space equals space 0.8, close brackets, enter, if space open brackets body dot ycore, open brackets, close brackets, space is greater than, space minus 250, close brackets, colon, enter, gravity, space equals space, minus 12, enter, backspace, else, colon, enter, body dot set y, open brackets, minus 250, close brackets, enter, I dot set y, open brackets, minus 241, close brackets, enter, pupil dot set y, open brackets, minus 241, close brackets, enter, top capital B beak dot set y, open brackets, minus 254, close brackets, enter, bottom capital B beak dot set y, open brackets, minus 259, close brackets, enter, wing dot set y, open brackets, minus 250, close brackets, enter, time dot sleep, open brackets 1, close brackets, enter, game capital O over, open brackets, high score, comma, space, open quotation marks, lose, close quotation marks, close brackets, enter, enter, backspace, backspace, backspace. That's 2 enters and 3 backspaces. Let me just scroll up and down. That makes us see the left side again. If you can't see the left side, then scroll all the way up and you'll teleport back to the left side. And then scroll back down and you can see this side. Now we're going to check if we will win. So we're going to check for score 999. So we're not going to win just yet, we're creating the conditions for the win. If space score space equals equals space 999 space and space open brackets top capital B pipe dot xcore open brackets close brackets space is less than space minus 250 close brackets colon enter top capital B pipe dot dx space equals space 0 enter bottom capital B pipe dot dx space equals space 0. We're setting the dx of the pipes to 0 so it does not move while we're moving towards the trophy. Enter, enter. Now we have to show the trophy because we have a score of 999. So let's do that. Trophy capital T top dot st open brackets close brackets enter. Trophy capital B body dot st open brackets close brackets enter. Trophy capital I inside dot st open brackets close brackets enter. Left capital H handle dot st open brackets close brackets enter. Left capital H hole dot st open brackets close brackets enter. Right handle, make sure right handle has a capital H dot st open brackets close brackets enter. Right capital H hole dot st open brackets close brackets enter. Trophy capital B bottom space dot st open brackets close brackets enter. Trophy capital N neck dot st open brackets close brackets enter. Trophy capital B base dot st open brackets close brackets enter, enter. Just like we moved the player and the pipes, we are going to move the player in the x coordinate direction. So let's do that. X capital B body space equals space body dot xcore open brackets close brackets enter. X capital EI space equals space I dot xcore open brackets close brackets enter. X capital T top capital B beak space equals space top capital B beak dot xcore open brackets close brackets enter. X capital B bottom capital B beak space equals space bottom capital B beak dot xcore open brackets close brackets enter. X capital W wing space equals space wing dot xcore open brackets close brackets enter, enter. Now we're going to add the dx of the player to its x coordinate. X capital B body space plus equals space body dot dx enter. X capital EI space plus equals space I dot dx enter. X capital P pupil space plus equals space pupil dot dx enter. X capital T top capital B beak space plus equals space top capital B beak dot dx enter. X capital B bottom, capital B beak, space plus equals space bottom, capital B beak, dot dx, enter, x, capital W wing, space plus equals space wing, dot dx, enter, enter. Now we're going to set the x coordinate as the x coordinate just in case, because there are sometimes failures. Body dot set x, open brackets, x body, make sure x body has a capital B, close brackets, enter. I dot set x, open brackets, x capital EI, close brackets, enter. Pupil dot set x, open brackets, x capital P pupil, close brackets, enter. Top capital B beak dot set x, open brackets, x capital T top, capital B beak, close brackets, enter. Bottom capital B beak dot set x, open brackets, x capital B bottom, capital B beak, close brackets, enter. Wing dot set x, open brackets, x capital W wing, close brackets, enter, enter. Now we're going to check for if we're going past or if we're in level with the trophy center, because if we go past the trophy and we don't stop, we will never win. We will just move off the screen. So to avoid that, we're going to set the player position to a certain x coordinate after we reach the center of the trophy. So let's do that. If space open brackets body dot xcore, open brackets, close brackets, space is greater than or equals to space trophy, capital B body dot xcore, open brackets, close brackets again, colon, enter. Body dot set x, open brackets, 90, close brackets, enter. I dot set x, open brackets, 110, close brackets, enter. Pupil dot set x, open brackets, 116, close brackets, enter. Top capital B beak dot set x, open brackets, 117, close brackets, enter. Bottom capital B beak dot set x, open brackets, 117, close brackets, enter. Wing dot set x, open brackets, 65, close brackets, enter, enter. Now we're going to change the player's dx to 0. This is so it does not move in case. Body dot dx space equals space 0. Enter. I dot dx space equals space 0. Enter. Pupil dot dx space equals space 0. Enter. Top capital B beak dot dx space equals space 0. Enter. Bottom capital B beak dot dx space equals space 0. Enter. Wing dot dx space equals space 0. Enter, enter. Now we're going to check for if the player touches the trophy. So if they touch the trophy, we're going to call the game over procedure, but with a win. Let's do that. If space open brackets body dot ycore, open brackets, close brackets, space is less than space 175, close brackets, space and space open brackets body dot ycore, open brackets, close brackets, space is greater than space minus 15, close brackets, colon, enter. If space life capital L lost, space equals capital F false, colon, enter. So this is checking if we've lost the life. This is because sometimes if we touch the top of the screen without touching the trophy and we fall down during the animation, we will win because we touched the trophy before we touched the ground. So that's why we're checking if we lost a life. Score space plus equals space 1, enter. If space high score space exclamation equals space 1000 colon enter. High score space plus equals space 1, enter, enter, backspace. That was 2 enters and 1 backspace. Body.setY open brackets 107 close brackets, enter. I.setY open brackets 116 close brackets, enter. Pupil.setY open brackets 116 close brackets, enter. Top capital B beak dot set y open brackets 103 close brackets, enter. Bottom capital B beak dot set y open brackets 98 close brackets, enter. Wing dot set y open brackets 107 close brackets, enter, enter. Now we're going to call the game over function that we created earlier. Game capital O over open brackets high score comma space open quotation marks win close quotation marks close brackets, enter, enter. Backspace, 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 backspace. That is 2 enters and 6 backspaces. Step 12. Creating a procedure for the home screen. Def space home capital S screen open brackets widgets comma space high score close brackets colon enter. Clear capital W widgets open brackets widgets close brackets, enter, enter. So we've cleared all the widgets, so every time we open the home screen, any widgets from the previous screen, the game screen, is going to be deleted. We're going to set the high score as the high score, space equals space high score, enter, enter. Now we're going to create the title that appears on the screen in the home page. Title capital O outline, space equals space canvas dot create underscore text open brackets 0 comma space minus 250 comma space text space equals space open quotation marks close quotation marks comma space. So you might be wondering why we left the text blank. This is because we're going to generate it one letter at a time. So we're going to leave this blank and we're going to create another variable called title, and then we're going to generate each letter of that one by one. Fill space equals space open quotation marks green close quotation marks comma space font space equals space open brackets open quotation marks Courier close quotation marks comma space 41 comma space open quotation marks bold close quotation marks close brackets comma space anchor space equals space open quotation marks center close quotation marks close brackets, enter. Currently the top line is for the outline of the text. Now we're going to create the actual text. Again, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to leave the text as blank because we're going to generate it one letter at a time. Title capital T text space equals space canvas dot create underscore text open brackets 0 comma space minus 250 comma space text space equals space open quotation marks close quotation marks, comma, space, fill, space, equals space, open quotation marks, white, close quotation marks, comma, space, font, space, equals space, open brackets, open quotation marks, courier, close quotation marks, comma, space, 40, comma, space, open quotation marks, bold, close quotation marks, close brackets, comma, space, anchor, space, equals, space, open quotation marks, center, close quotation marks, close brackets, enter. Now we're going to assign the title to a variable. Title, space, equals space, open quotation marks, Flappy Bird, close quotation marks, enter. Now we're going to create a delay and a delta time. So the delta time is the time in between, it's a constant time. Delay, space, equals space, 0, enter. Delta, space, equals space, 300, enter, enter. Now we're going to create the loop for writing the text one letter at a time. For, space, loop, space, in, space, range, open brackets, len, open brackets, title, close brackets, space, plus, space, 1, close brackets, colon, enter. So in this loop, we're not actually generating it one letter at a time. We're generating one extra letter at a time. So at first, we're generating the first letter, then the next time we're generating the first two letters, then we're generating the first three letters, and so on, until we reach the whole title. Let's do that. To get that, we have to do string, space, equals space, title, open square brackets, 0, colon, loop, close square brackets, enter. Now we've got to update the outline and the text. We have to do them separately. Let's do that now. Update, capital O outline, space, equals space, lambda, space, string, space, equals space, string, colon, canvas, dot, item configure, open brackets, title outline. Make sure title outline has a capital O, comma, space, text, space, equals space, string, close brackets, enter. Now we're going to do that with the update text. Update, capital T text, space, equals space, lambda, space, string, space, equals space, string, colon, canvas, dot, item configure, open brackets, title, capital T text, comma, space, text, space, equals space, string, close brackets, enter. Now we've got to carry out the update with a delay. Let's do that. To do that, type wn.onTimer, open brackets, update, capital O outline, comma, space, delay, close brackets. So here we're saying update outline after the delay. Enter, wn.onTimer, open brackets, update, capital T text, comma, space, delay, close brackets, enter. Now after every loop, we need to increase the delay. So to increase the delay, we're going to add delta onto it. Delta is a constant time, which is 0.3 seconds. Let's do that. Delay, space, plus, equals, space, delta. Enter, enter, backspace. That's 2 enters and 1 backspace. Now we're going to create the instructions on the home screen. Instructions, space, equals space, canvas, dot, create, underscore text, open brackets, 0, comma, space, minus 100, comma, space, text, space, equals, space, open quotation marks, space, space, capital P, press, space bar, or \n, space, click on the screen, \n, space, 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 space. That's 6 spaces. Then type 2 space fly space up. Full stop, close quotation marks, comma, space. Fill, space, equals, space, open quotation marks, yellow, close quotation marks, comma, space. Font, space, equals, space, open brackets, open quotation marks, courier, close quotation marks, comma, space. 16, comma, space, open quotation marks, bold, close quotation marks, close brackets, comma, space. Anchor, space, equals, space, open quotation marks, center, close quotation marks, close brackets, enter. Now there is a small section under the instructions explaining what happens at the end of the game with the trophy. So let's also create that. Ending capital M message, space, equals, space, canvas dot create underscore text, open brackets, 0, comma, space, minus 20, comma, space, text, space, equals, space, open quotation marks, space, 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 space. That's 7 spaces. And then type at space 1000 space points, comma, \n, space, space, you win, and the game ends. Full stop, close quotation marks, comma, space. Fill, space, equals, space, open quotation marks, blue, close quotation marks, comma, space. Font, space, equals, space, open brackets, open quotation marks, courier, close quotation marks, comma, space. 12, comma, space, open quotation marks, bold, close quotation marks, close brackets, comma, space. Anchor, space, equals, space, open quotation marks, center, close quotation marks, close brackets, enter. Now we're going to create a procedure to open the game mode selection screen. Enter, def, space, game mode, capital S selection, open brackets, close brackets, colon, enter, clear, capital W, widgets, open brackets, widgets, close brackets, enter, enter. Now we're going to create the 4 buttons that were visible on the screen. Let's start off with the home button. Home, capital B, button. Make sure it's one word. Space, equals, space, capital B, button. Open brackets, canvas dot master, comma, space, text, space, equals, space, open quotation marks, \, capital N, open curly brackets, house, close curly brackets, \n, capital H, home page, close quotation marks, comma, space, font, space, equals, space, open brackets, open quotation marks, courier, close quotation marks, comma, space, 15, comma, space, open quotation marks, bold, close quotation marks, close brackets, comma, space, BG, space, equals, space, open quotation marks, white, close quotation marks, comma, space, FG, space, equals, space, open quotation marks, green, close quotation marks, comma, space, command, space, equals, space, capital N, none. Right now we're not going to assign any functions or any procedures to any of these buttons. We're going to assign them later on. Comma space relief space equals space open quotation marks ridge, close quotation marks, close brackets, enter. Now let's move on to the easy game mode button. Easy button. Make sure easy button has a capital B, space equals space, capital B button, open brackets, canvas.master, comma space text, space equals space, open quotation marks, backslash, capital N, open curly brackets, smiling face with smiling eyes, close curly brackets. Make sure everything inside the curly brackets is exactly how I type it. Make sure to not add any extra spaces or make it capital letters. Backslash N, capital E easy, close quotation marks, comma space, font, space equals space, open brackets, open quotation marks, courier, close quotation marks, comma space, 20, comma space, open quotation marks, bold, close quotation marks, close brackets, comma space, BG space equals space, open quotation marks, white, close quotation marks, comma space, FG space equals space, open quotation marks, green, close quotation marks, comma space, command, space equals space, capital N none, comma space, relief, space equals space, open quotation marks, ridge, close quotation marks, close brackets, enter. Now let's create the medium game mode button. Medium capital B button, space equals space, capital B button, open brackets, canvas.master, comma space text, space equals space, open quotation marks, backslash capital N, open curly brackets, slightly, space, frowning, space, face, close curly brackets, backslash N, capital M medium, close quotation marks, comma, space, font, space equals space, open brackets, open quotation marks, courier, close quotation marks, comma, space, 20, comma, space, open quotation marks, bold, close quotation marks, close brackets, comma, space, BD space equals space, open quotation marks, white, close quotation marks, comma, space, FG space equals space, open quotation marks, hash, FEBE00, close quotation marks, comma, space, command, space equals space, capital N none, comma, space, relief, space equals space, open quotation marks, ridge, close quotation marks, close brackets, enter. Now let's create the hard game mode button. Hard, capital B button, space equals space, capital B button, open brackets, canvas.master, comma, space, text, space equals space, open quotation marks, backslash capital N, open curly brackets, angry, space, face, close curly brackets, backslash N, capital H hard, close quotation marks, comma, space, font, space equals space, open brackets, open quotation marks, courier, close quotation marks, comma, space, 20, comma, space, open quotation marks, bold, close quotation marks, close brackets, comma, space, BG, space equals space, open quotation marks, white, close quotation marks, comma, space, FG, space equals space, open quotation marks, red, close quotation marks, comma, space, command, space equals space, capital N none, comma, space, relief, space equals space, open quotation marks, ridge, close quotation marks, close brackets, enter. Now let's create functions for each of the buttons. Enter def space go capital H home, open brackets, close brackets, colon, enter, home capital S screen, open brackets, widgets, comma space high score, close brackets, enter, enter, backspace. That's 2 enters and 1 backspace. So what we've done in Go Home is we've recalled this procedure that we've just started. We haven't actually finished the procedure, but we can already recall it. Now let's do the procedures for the other buttons. Def space easy game. Make sure easy game has a capital G. Open brackets, close brackets, colon, enter. Game, open brackets, widgets, comma space, open quotation marks, easy, close quotation marks, comma space, high score, close brackets, enter, enter, backspace, def space medium game. Make sure medium game has a capital G, open brackets, close brackets, colon, enter, game, open brackets, widgets, comma space, open quotation marks, medium, close quotation marks, comma space, high score, close brackets, enter, enter, backspace. That's 2 enters and 1 backspace. Def space hard capital G game, open brackets, close brackets, colon, enter, game, open brackets, widgets, comma space, open quotation marks, hard, close quotation marks, comma space, high score, close brackets, enter, enter, backspace. That was 2 enters and 1 backspace. Now let's add the commands to the buttons. Home capital B button dot configure, open brackets, command, space equals space, go capital H home, close brackets, enter, easy capital B button dot configure, open brackets, command, space equals space, easy game. Make sure easy game has a capital G, close brackets, enter, medium button. Make sure medium button has a capital B, dot configure, open brackets, command, space equals space, medium, capital G game, close brackets, enter, hard capital B button, dot configure, open brackets, command, space equals space, hard capital G game, close brackets, enter, enter. Now that we've created the buttons, we need to place them somewhere on the screen. So let's do that. Home capital B button dot place, open brackets, X space equals space 10, comma space Y space equals space 10, comma space width space equals space 110, comma space height space equals space 60, close brackets, enter, easy capital B button dot place, open brackets, X space equals space 162.5, comma space Y space equals space 125, comma space width space equals space 120, comma space height space equals space 75, close brackets, enter, medium capital B button dot place, open brackets, X space equals space 162.5, comma space Y space equals space 225, comma space width space equals space 120, comma space height space equals space 75, close brackets, enter. Hard capital B button, dot place, open brackets, x, space equals space 162.5, comma space y, space equals space 325, comma space width, space equals space 120, comma space height, space equals space 75, close brackets, enter, enter. Now let's create the instructions and the ending message again, but this is for the game mode selection screen, where it appears at the bottom. So this is going to be in smaller text, so the font size is going to be smaller. Let's do it. Instructions, space, equals space, canvas dot create underscore text, open brackets 0, comma space 135, comma space text, space equals space, open quotation marks, space space, that's 2 spaces. Now type press, spacebar, or \n, space click on the screen, \n, space 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 space, that's 6 spaces. 2 space fly space up, full stop, close quotation marks, comma space, fill, space equals space, open quotation marks yellow, close quotation marks, comma space font, space equals space, open brackets, open quotation marks courier, close quotation marks, comma space 15, comma space, open quotation marks bold, close quotation marks, close brackets, comma space anchor, space equals space, open quotation, center, close quotation marks, close brackets, enter. Now let's create the ending message, ending capital M message, space equals space, canvas dot create underscore text, open brackets 0, comma space 195, comma space text, space equals space, open quotation marks, space 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 space, that's 7 spaces. At 1000 points, comma \n, space space, that's 2 spaces, you win and the game ends. Full stop, close quotation marks, comma, space fill, space equals space, open quotation marks blue, close quotation marks, comma space font, space equals space, open brackets, open quotation marks courier, close quotation marks, comma space 10, comma space, open quotation marks bold, close quotation marks, close brackets, comma space anchor, space equals space, open quotation marks center, close quotation marks, close brackets, enter, enter. Now we are going to add all the widgets to the widget list. This is so we can delete every single one when we carry out the other procedure, which was to delete all the widgets. So let's add all the widgets to the list. Widgets.append, open bracket, we're going to add the buttons and the instructions and ending message. So let's do that. Home capital B button, close brackets, enter. Widgets.append, open brackets, easy button. Make sure easy button has a capital B, close brackets, enter. Widgets.append, open brackets, medium button. Make sure medium button has a capital B, close brackets, enter, Widgets.append, open brackets, hard capital B button, close brackets, enter, Widgets.append, open bracket, instructions, close brackets, enter, Widgets.append, open brackets, ending capital M message, close brackets, enter, enter, backspace. That was 2 enters and 1 backspace. Right now, if you can't see the cursor on your screen, like I can't, just scroll all the way back up to the top, and then scroll all the way back down, because the screen will shift back to the left side of the screen. So now you can see the code here. So let's continue programming. We're going to create the start button. So let's create that. Start capital B button, space equals space, capital B button, open brackets, canvas.master, comma space text, space equals space, open quotation marks, backslash capital N, open curly brackets, black, space medium, space right hyphen pointing, space triangle, space centered, close curly brackets. Make sure when you type centered it's spelled CENTRED, backslash N, capital P play, close quotation marks, comma space font, space equals space, open brackets, open quotation marks, courier, close quotation marks, comma space 20, comma space, open quotation marks, bold, close quotation marks, close brackets, comma space BG, space equals space, open quotation marks, white, close quotation marks, comma space FG, space equals space, open quotation marks, green, close quotation marks, comma space command, space equals space, capital N none, comma space relief, space equals space, open quotation marks, ridge, close quotation marks, close brackets, enter. Now we're going to create a procedure for the button to be attached to. Enter, def, space, start, capital G game, open brackets, close brackets, colon, enter. And now we're going to move on to the game mode selection screen after we click on this button. So let's call that procedure game mode, capital S, selection, open brackets, close brackets, enter, enter, backspace. That's 2 enters and 1 backspace. Now let's add the command to the button and let's place the button on the screen. Start capital B button, dot configure, open brackets, command, space equals space, start capital G game, close brackets, enter, start capital B button, dot place, open brackets, x space equals space, 162.5, comma space y space equals space, 425, comma space width, space equals space, 125, comma space height, space equals space, 75, close brackets, enter, enter. Now we've only got a few more widgets to add to the list, so let's add these widgets to the list. Widgets.append, open bracket, title, capital T text, close brackets, enter, Widgets.append, open brackets, title, capital O outline, close brackets, enter, Widgets.append, open brackets, instructions, close brackets, enter, Widgets.append, open brackets, ending message. Make sure M in ending message is capital, close brackets, enter, Widgets.append, open brackets, start capital B button, close brackets, enter, enter. Step 13. Hiding error messages in the home screen while updating the screen. So to do this, we're going to create a while true loop. So this is going to run all the time because true always equals true. While, capital T true, colon, enter. We're going to do a try except. So if there is a failure in updating the screen, then it's going to ignore the error message. So let's do that. Try, colon, enter. wn.update, open brackets, close brackets, enter, backspace, except, colon, enter. Now to ignore the message and hide it, we have to type pass. So what that does is, it avoids any procedure, so it doesn't do anything. It just hides the message. Enter, enter, backspace, backspace. That's 2 enters and 2 backspaces. If you can't see the cursor again, go back all the way to the top and scroll down back to the bottom. Step 14. Calling the homeScreen procedure. So now we're going to call the homeScreen procedure that we just created. So to do that, type home capital S, screen, open brackets, widgets, comma space. Now for the high score, we're going to set it to 0 because right now we haven't got any high score that has been saved because this is the first time that the home screen is being run. So there would not be an attempt in the game before this. So we're setting it to 0. 0. Close brackets, enter, enter. Step 15. Keeping the game window open. To do this, the only thing we have to type is wn.mainLoop. Open brackets, close brackets. Now, we've technically completed the whole program. But sometimes after we run it, there may be a few errors, even though the program still works. So to hide these errors, we're going to do an extra step. Step 16. Hiding the error messages. So the first main error message is around the whole program itself. So you're going to want to go back straight to the top and go to the first line and create a new line. Go to the very top and then type try, colon, and then select all of the code underneath . Once you've selected all the code, go to Format, then click on Indent Region. Now if I click off the selection, you can see that our code has been indented and it's inside the try. So now if we go to the bottom of the code and we go to the bottom line, press enter, backspace, then type except, colon, enter, pass. Now, if there is any error message, it's going to be hidden. and we're not going to be able to see it. Now, there's one other place that we need to put the try except structure, and that's inside the game procedure that we created. So if you go up and find that game procedure where you actually created it, so if you copied my code, then I can tell you my line number. To find the line number, go to Options, and then click on Show Line Numbers. So if you copied my code exactly, you should be at 110, line 110. So if you didn't exactly copy my code, it would be around 110. So go to the end of line 110, or wherever you created your game procedure, press enter, type try, colon, and then select all of the code inside the game procedure except the try. Do not select the try. Keep going, select the main loop, and then keep going until you see create a procedure for the home screen. So you know that procedure that we created for the home screen? Do not select that. And then after you select all of the code inside the game procedure, you have to indent it. Go to Format, click on Indent Region. Now that the code is indented, let's click off the selection, and let's move to the bottom of the game procedure. For me, the end of the game procedure is line 410. If you copy the exact same code, go to line 410, otherwise go somewhere near it and you'll find the end of the game procedure. Press enter, backspace, 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 backspace. That was enter and 6 backspaces. Then type except, colon, enter, pass. Now we have completed the code and there won't be any more messages. So let's save the file, go to File and click on Save. Now let's run the file to see if it works. Click on Run and then on Run Module. Here you can see that there is an error because not everything loaded. Let's close this for now. And let's close the shell. Now that we've closed the shell, let's go find the errors that I made. So the 2 errors that I have in my program are both misspellings. Instead of typing widgets list inside def clear widgets widgets list, I should have written widget list. I should have removed the S. So this is on line 100. I have on my program it's line 100. If you can't find it on line 100, it's nearby 100. It should be nearby line 100, and it's going to say def clear widgets open brackets widgets list close brackets colon. So where it says widgets list, remove the S in widgets list, and it should just say widget list. The next error is in the main loop of the game. Let's scroll down there. So the next error I made is on line 253. If it's not on 253, it should be somewhere around there. On line 253, I misspelt gravity, so I'm going to add the V for gravity. So now if I save the file, go to File, click on Save. Now if we run it, the program will work. Click on Run, then on Run Module. As you can see, here's the title screen. Let's click on Play. There's 4 buttons. Let's go to the home page. Again, you can see that button works. Click on play. Let's play medium mode. As you can see, when I click the screen, the bird flies. If I press the spacebar, the bird also flies. If I touch a pipe, there's the fall animation, and it says game over. After that, it brings us to the home screen. It would be the same case if we touch the very top of the screen and if we touch the floor. Let me just quickly show you that. As you can see, because we touched the floor, it's game over and we're taken back to the home screen. Now let's close the game window and let's close the shell. It says your program is still running, do you want to kill it? Click on OK. Now that the shell is closed, let's close the Python programming window. In my next videos, I will be posting tutorials to program other games in Python. I hope that this video was helpful for you. If you liked this video, please smash that like button and share it with your friends and family. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please click that red subscribe button below. If you have any questions or comments about this video, or if you'd like to get links for all of my previous videos, please contact me via email at 4techcenter@gmail.com. I have added it in the description box below. See you in the next video!